A single vending machine in the right hallway can pull in around $400 a month. Stack 30 of them, and you're looking at six figures a year, which is exactly why TikTok is flooded with people calling this the easiest passive income on earth. Here's the part they leave out. That same machine in the wrong location makes closer to $20 a month, and the location owner can take up to half of everything before you ever see a cent. So the real question isn't how much vending machines make, it's how much the owner actually keeps. Let's break it down. So let's start with the number that gets everyone in the door. The average healthy vending machine in the United States brings in somewhere between $300 and $500 in sales per month. Put one in a busy office building or a gym lobby, and that number climbs fast. The vending industry as a whole moves over $18 billion a year across the country, spread across millions of machines humming away in hospitals, schools, warehouses, and apartment complexes. On paper, this looks like one of the simplest businesses on earth. You buy a box, you fill it with snacks and sodas, and it sells them for you around the clock while you sleep. But that $300 to $500 figure is sales, not profit. And this is where the dream and the reality start to separate. Out of every dollar that goes into the machine, a big chunk was already spoken for before the customer ever pressed a button. The snacks inside cost you money. The cans of soda on the shelf cost you money. And in almost every good location, somebody else is standing there with their hand out, waiting to take a slice of the top. That somebody is the location owner, the gym, the office, the laundromat. They didn't let you park a money printing machine in their lobby out of kindness. They want a cut. So before we talk about what you keep, we have to talk about what gets taken. And the first thing taken is bigger than most beginners ever expect. The first hand in your pocket belongs to whoever owns the spot. In the vending world, this is called a commission, and it works like rent that scales with your success. A typical commission runs anywhere from 10 to 25% of gross sales, paid straight to the location. In the most competitive spots, like a packed corporate office or a busy hospital, owners have been known to demand up to 50% just to let your machine through the door. So picture that machine doing $400 a month. Hand the building 20%, and $80 is gone before you've counted a single thing. The better the location, the bigger the bite. That's the cruel twist nobody mentions. The spots that actually sell are the same spots that charge the most to be there. A quiet machine in a sleepy office park might cost you nothing in commission because the building doesn't see enough traffic to bother negotiating. But a quiet machine in a sleepy office park also barely sells. So you're stuck choosing between a cheap location that earns nothing or a great location that takes a fortune off the top before you've even restocked it once. Now, subtract the product. Most vending operators aim to keep their cost of goods at around 50% of the sale price. That candy bar selling for $1.50 cost you roughly 75 cents at the wholesale club. The soda you're charging $2 for cost you around 80 cents. So on a machine pulling $400 in sales, nearly 200 of that just refilled the shelves. Stack that on top of the locations cut, and the picture changes fast. From $400 of sales, you've already lost 80 to the building and 200 to product. You're down to about 120, and we haven't even turned the lights on yet. Speaking of which, that machine is plugged into the wall, running a compressor 24 hours a day to keep those sodas cold. In a hot climate, that compressor works overtime, and the electricity is on your tab, not the building's. It's a small monthly bite, but it's one more bite out of a number that's shrinking with every line we add. Here's where the part-time dream meets the full-time reality. Vending machines break. The bill acceptor jams. The coin mechanism freezes. The cooling unit dies in the middle of July. A single refrigeration repair can run you several $100s, and a new bill validator isn't cheap either. When a machine goes down, it isn't just the repair bill that hurts. Every day it sits dark is a day it earns nothing while the location still expects it to work. Then there's spoilage. Every chip bag has an expiration date, and anything sitting in a slow machine too long becomes a loss you eat personally. Chocolate melts in the summer and turns to mush. sodas go flat past their date. You learn, sometimes the expensive way, that overstocking a slow machine is just throwing money onto a shelf to expire. Add fuel on top of all of it. You are the delivery driver, the stock clerk, and the repair dispatcher, which means you're burning gas every time you drive out to restock or fix a machine across town. None of this shows up in the TikTok videos. The cheerful guy counting cash never films himself driving 40 minutes to unjam a machine that earned him $30 that week. So after the building, the product, the power, the repairs, the spoilage, and the fuel, that $400 machine is often netting the owner somewhere between $100 and $150 a month. One machine will not change your life. And sometimes the machine doesn't just underperform. Sometimes it gets attacked. A vending machine sitting alone in a hallway overnight is a glass box full of cash and snacks with nobody watching it. In rougher locations, operators deal with break-ins, pried-open coin boxes, and machines tipped over or smashed for the few dollars inside. Even without a crowbar, you get the slow drain of theft, the jammed bills, the customer who paid and got nothing and now wants a refund you'll never actually process. Then there's the worst kind of loss, the silent one. A location that quietly dies. The office downsizes and half the staff goes remote. The gym loses members. The factory shift gets cut. Suddenly, your once reliable machine is selling a fraction of what it used to, and you're paying to drive out and restock a box that's barely moving product. You can't always see it coming, and by the time the numbers drop, you've already sunk months into a spot that's no longer worth the gas to reach it. Picture an operator running 30 machines across a single city. Each one nets a modest $120 a month after every cost we just listed. On its own, each machine is unremarkable. But 30 of them clearing $120 each adds up to around $3,600 a month, or over $43,000 a year. And the operator isn't visiting all 30 every day. They've clustered the machines so a single restock run hits 8 or 10 locations in one tight loop instead of driving across the whole city for one box. They've learned which snacks sell and which ones rot, so spoilage drops to almost nothing. They've negotiated lower commissions by bringing a building 3 or 4 machines at once instead of begging for one, and they've spread the risk so when one location dies, it's a small dent instead of a disaster. The machine didn't make them money. The route did. That's the difference between a hobby and a business, and it's the entire reason the math finally works. But here's what even the route operators will tell you. The hardest part of this business was never buying the machines. It was finding the spots. Every great location is either already taken by another vending company or guarded by a building manager who wants a fat commission and a stack of insurance paperwork before they'll even talk to you. You're not really in the snack business. You're in the sales business, knocking on doors, pitching property managers, and convincing strangers to let you put a machine in their lobby. The operators who scale are the ones who got good at that pitch. They show up with a clean machine, a fair split, and a promise to keep it stocked and working. They treat the building like a partner, not a landlord to dodge. Because a single great location can be worth more than 5 mediocre ones, and locking down those spots before a competitor does is the real game. The machine is just the easy part you can buy with a credit card. The location is the part you have to earn. So let's run the honest version for someone starting out. A single used machine in a decent location might cost you $2,000 to $3,000 upfront. If it nets $120 a month, you're looking at well over a year just to earn your money back before you've made a dime of actual profit. Buy new and that payback window stretches even further. Now scale it the smart way. Reinvest the profit from machine 1 into machine 2, then 3, then a small cluster. It's slow at first, almost discouraging. The first year can feel like working for free. But the operator who treats it like a route instead of a lottery ticket can realistically build to 20 or 30 machines over a few years and pull a genuine full-time income from it. The ones who buy 3 machines expect to get rich by spring and quit when the first compressor dies. They become the cautionary tale in the comments section. Same business, same machines, completely different outcome. decided almost entirely by patience. So how much do vending machine owners actually make? The honest answer is that the machine barely makes anything. The owner makes money, or doesn't. One box in a bad hallway earns less than a part-time shift at the same building it's sitting in. A real route, built patiently over years by someone who treats it like the unglamorous logistics business it actually is, can quietly replace a salary. The cash-counting videos sold you a vending machine. What they should have sold you is a delivery route, a repair schedule, a sales pitch, and a spreadsheet. It's not passive, it's not instant, and it's not easy. But for the few who stick with the boring version long enough to scale it, the boring version is the one that pays. If you found the real math more useful than the hype, you already think like the operators who make this work. The rest is just patience, a good route, and a full tank of gas.